Hello, my name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Now, as usual, I'm going to go through a slight review of what our last video was, and I'll reference that up there because we will again move into something related to this video. Now, this video, the last video, was called Interesting. Are you sure you can see me? Now, in the illusion, it is obvious that you can see me. It is obvious. But that's in the illusion. When you move beyond the illusion, you don't see me. As this model illustrates, in this model, we have two sections. We have the outside infinite energy system of everything, and then we have your unique processing of information, which is through your senses and your belief system. And out of this processing, you create, you great creator, you create a picture, a pattern, a model, a simulation of what you believe is out here. And if I'm out here in the infinite energy system, and I am, you don't see me. You never see me as I am. You can only see me as a simulation, a model that you create in your mind. Everything is interpreted in the mind. And the mind, or your process here of simulating what is out here, is your best guess. And so that's what that last video was about. And if you have a chance, if you haven't looked at it yet, and you'd like to get a little deeper into it, I'll reference it up there, as I said. Now, in a moment, we're going to change and talk about our subject for this video now. And this is our subject for this video. And I'll have to read it off here because it doesn't have everything up here. Exciting. Your open mind is the mystical mind. Your open mind is the mystical mind. Now, in my little drawing here, I've tried to draw a mind. Don't know how to draw a mind. So what I drew was for me, a model of a door. So this is a door, and this is the opening. So it is a gate, a door, or a portal into the mind. When the mind is open, it's mystical. When the mind is closed, it's terrible. It's terrible. The mind is a strange word because the definition, there's no real good definition for the mind. But I did pick out one. And you can look on YouTube, you can look on Google, you can look on the internet. You'll find different interpretations, I'm sure. But here is this one. And there's a reference to it in the description, in the video description. The mind is a faculty of manifest itself in mental phenomena such as perception, thinking, reasoning, and memory. Now those are kind of like attributes of what this reference says is the mind. And it cannot be touched. Now I'm stressing that because the mind cannot be touched. And you can check the reference. If you don't like it, find another one. So this is what we have. We have the open mind right here. The doors are open. That means anything is possible. So as we think about the mind and what is in the mind, which is everything. Everything is in the mind. Now, in our other diagrams, we've looked at the outside infinite energy system. And we said, and I said, everything is there. And when you take the shackles or the fetters of the egoic mind, the egoic belief system, away from the understanding of the mind, it becomes that infinite energy system. Now I want to drop right into A Course in Miracles and then begin to go from there, because this becomes quite esoteric, and sense the word mystical. And by the way, this title was, I was originally thinking about the book, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. And then I thought, I like that. I like the book. So I came up with this title. Open Mind, Mystical Mind. So now, A Course in Miracles around the mind. Because the Course talks about the mind in different ways. And here's the quote I found. The mind is very powerful. It never loses its creative force. It never sleeps. Every instant it is creating. It is hard to recognize that thought and belief combine into a power surge that can literally move mountains. So as we think about the mind in relationship to us in this illusion, the mind has two aspects. And those two aspects are your belief system and your thoughts. Now, your thoughts can only be thought within the boundaries of your belief system. And as the last video pointed out, and I've said several times, the truth is not important. People say, well, the truth is important. The truth will set you free. The truth is fundamental. You got to know the truth. No, you don't have to know the truth. Truth isn't important. what you believe is true. That's important. Now, can the two be the same? Can the truth and what you believe as true be the same? Absolutely. Can the truth and what you believe the truth is not be the same? Absolutely. How do you know the difference? How do you know the difference? You might look at that as a Zen koan and see what you come up with. So now we have the, oh, by the way, I'm having a little, what am I having this time as far as tea? Oh, I'm having a green tea that is a chai green tea. It's quite nice, quite pleasant. It's a little kick up from just green tea. So now, the mind. I had to write some of this stuff down. We already talked about the definition of the mind, which is basically you can't touch it and nobody knows what it is, but it is very powerful. The same thing with the Course in Miracles. The mind's very powerful. The mind, everything in your world is an interpretation in the mind. So here we have this open door, right here, open door, and it's a gate. I also thought about another Zen book, The Gateless Gate. And I thought about that because we don't really know how to get into the mind. We know some of the results of the mind, but we really have no concept of what the mind is, and it cannot be touched. And the two aspects of the mind, your thoughts and your beliefs, both of those cannot be touched. And so I begin to think about, are there other things about us that cannot be touched? And I said, well, yeah. Neurons never touch. Neurons never touch. When neurons come together, the axions and the dendrites, there's always a gap, a little bitty gap, through which chemical signals pass. And those chemical signals, during the process, they don't touch either. Now, as they go from the axion to the dendrite, it moves into a space called a lock and key, that the molecule, the chemical molecule, will line up with some impression in the dendrite, and then it'll fall into it, turn the dendrite on, turn the signal on. It doesn't touch, really. It doesn't touch the dendrite, and then it gets forced back out. And then in that little gap is also another area in the synapses where the original axion takes that signal back up and restores it. It's called a reuptake. So there's all kinds of things going on in the brain. Nothing touches. Now, in atoms, within atoms, there are electrons. And electrons do not touch because of the potential difference between them. So electrons, same like, whoop, they get close, whoop, they bounce away, whoop, they don't touch. They stay at a certain distance depending on the energy around them. And so they don't touch. Well, if atoms are made of electrons, which is the outer ring, the outside of the atom, and they can't touch because of the potential difference. Atoms can't touch. But atoms can form into molecules. But within the molecule, nothing touches. And then different molecules, they don't touch either. They share electrons sometimes, but they don't touch. Nothing touches in the body. Well, you have to look at some science, see if that's true with everything. I think it is. So now we have nothing touching in the body. Holy smokes, and look, the body stays together. So there's nothing touching. I had that marked. I don't have it marked anymore. I don't know what I did with it. Since nothing touches, and the mind can't be touched, and the thoughts and the beliefs cannot be touched. What kind of magic is going on inside of this portal that is the mind? Here's a conclusion of some kind. Since the mind, now you've got to figure the mind is not in the body. You can't touch it. Can't find it. So if you look for the mind in the body, you're not going to find it. If you look for thoughts in the body, you're not going to find them. If you look for the subconscious mind or your belief system in the body, you're not going to find it. If you look for anything in the body at its very basic level, you're going to find energy. You're going to find the infinite energy of everything. You're going to find consciousness. Now there's a big debate about the brain, which nothing ever touches. Does consciousness come out of the complex of the brain? If so, how does it do that? My answer was, it was there to start with. And all you're doing is uncovering it. The complexity of the brain has nothing to do with consciousness. It has to do with your human interpretation to keep the egoic belief system operating the way it does. So now, the mind is not in the body, but maybe the body is in the mind. But maybe the body is in the mind. Maybe the body is an artifact, a creation of the mind. Maybe the body is the crystallized light of the infinite mind. Maybe the mind of the body is the infinite consciousness. Maybe we are a drop in that ocean, which is consciousness. Maybe we are a drop in that ocean. And without us, the ocean is incomplete. Without us, the ocean can never be complete. And so within us, which is part of this ocean, is the whole ocean. Because the infinite cannot be divided. If we are part of that ocean, as a drop, we're the whole ocean. Oh, how mysterious and mystical is this mind that we can't define completely. Just like we can't define what an atom is. Well, we're sure we know what an atom is. Why aren't we just as sure that we know what the mind is? We're in an illusion, and it is a magnificent illusion, but not as magnificent as you are when you step through the portal and begin to recognize the magical self that you are. Oh, we have much to talk about here in the illusion. And so, till I see you again, I know this was kind of esoteric, and I know it was a little bit off the cuff, but see what you can take away from it. And if you have any questions, put them down below in the comments, and we'll see if we can come up with some answer. And look forward to seeing you next time, right here in the illusion.